Hey guys, welcome to Dirtwiz. In today's video, we're going to cover a few off-road tips and techniques that I wish I learned sooner as a complete beginner dual sport rider. So if you're a beginner looking to improve your off-road riding, these tips might not only help you level up your riding ability, but also save you time and energy as well. Let's get into it. Full disclaimer, I am absolutely not a pro rider, and these are just a few basic key tips that made a huge difference in my riding ability on my journey of becoming a better rider so far. And today I'd like to share these tips for anyone who might be in a similar situation when just starting out. So, in no particular order, we'll start off with riding position. To be totally honest, I've had many great adventures slowly puttering around forest trails and dirt roads while completely seated. But as your skills progress and you start pushing yourself further, eventually you may find yourself going faster than before, or at least trying to, especially if following friends or riders of a higher skill level. Or perhaps, depending on the situation, you may even need to travel faster to clear a certain obstacle or hill climb in your path. Depending on the terrain, this can get pretty rough if you're staying seated the whole time. The faster you go off-road, the more you're asking from your bike's suspension, and the more important riding position quickly becomes. The solution is to stand up and use your legs and arms as extra suspension. We call this attack position. Stand up on the foot pegs on the balls of your feet, allowing them to pivot back and forth over the pegs. Keep elbows and knees with a slight bend in them, not locked in one place. They should be absorbing the movements of the bike, extending when the bike dips down, and compressing when the bike raises up towards you. The goal is to keep your body sort of like a camera gimbal, absorbing the movements of the bike underneath you while maintaining a steady center of gravity directly over the middle of the bike. This will help you maintain traction, speed, and control when you need it the most. At the same time, it's good to get in the habit of gripping the sides of the bike with your legs more, both seated and standing, as this will reduce the strain on your arms that leads to arm pump and allow you to keep more relaxed grip, leading to less fatigue and more energy left for the ride. Mastering attack position will help you save energy, but most importantly, maintain control and traction when riding quickly over gnarly terrain. And learning this skill was absolutely paramount for me to progress as a rider. Next up is line acquisition. The difference between picking a good line and a bad line can be the difference in making it up a hill climb or failing before you even get halfway. As a new rider, it's easy to hyper-focus on a small single obstacle that's directly ahead of your path, a rock, a down tree, a gnarly root. Whatever it is, it's better to try and scan the trail in a constant sweeping motion, as on a bike you are, after all, an object in motion. Focusing too much on specific obstacles can lead you to lose sight of perhaps even worse obstacles that are coming after or around it. As you can see here in this clip, I was so focused on getting over this root that I didn't even see the branch that was coming straight for my chest. The best and most simple way to put it is focus a bit less on mentally pointing out the oncoming obstacles and divert more focus instead to scoping out a line through the oncoming section that has the least obstacles. Just like in any vehicle, you're going to end up driving subconsciously towards where your eyes are fixated, so try to look for the most clear line up a path, not at all the individual obstacles. I'm not saying don't acknowledge them, but don't hyperfixate on them. Eventually this will become second nature, but as a beginner, it's definitely a skill worth making a conscious effort towards. Now, if you have to clear an obstacle, like a down tree, a large rock, or a drop, make sure to hit it as close to 90 degrees as possible and with as much available suspension travel as possible. Hitting objects on a slanted angle can quickly take the bike out from underneath you if you're not ready for it, especially when things are wet. And unloading the front suspension ensures that you're hitting whatever it is with the full travel of your suspension available to you, as if you're still jammed on the brakes from trying to slow down, the suspension is going to be compressed, and hitting something with less suspension travel is going to make for a rougher time than it needs to be. There is a lot of nuance that we could touch on here, but if you want a more detailed explanation on obstacle crossings by an actual professional, I recommend watching this video linked up here by Adam Riemann. Alright, next up, turning around on the trails. Oftentimes a trail is blocked or leads to a dead end, or perhaps you took a wrong turn. Or maybe the sun is starting to set and it's just time to turn around. Simple, right? Sometimes, sure, but not always. When things get steep on the trails or super tight on, say, some single track, something as brutally simple as turning around can become a nightmare. And sometimes a simple turnaround in the wrong spot can end up wasting time and a whole bunch of energy. The best tip I've learned is to use slopes, even tiny ones, to your advantage. When making a multi-point turn, it's important to try not to turn onto any type of downhill slope, as you then got to use your legs to push the bike backwards and uphill to complete the turn. This gets tiring real quick. The most ideal scenario is pointing the bike upwards even with the slightest uphill and using the engine to drive up the incline slightly, then pulling in the clutch, cutting the bars hard, and letting gravity move you backwards to complete the turn. Repeat as many times as necessary, taking little bites at a time, making sure to keep weight over the rear tire and to modulate your front and rear brakes enough so that you don't go rolling backwards off the side of the trail if it's tight and has a steep bank like the one shown here. Once I got the hang of this, even turning around almost anywhere became effortless. And I use this simple technique all the time, and it saves so much valuable time and energy that can be used for the rest of the ride. Speaking of saving time and energy, our last tip is mostly just a bonus tip, and that is finding the best way to pick up your bike. Tip overs will happen at some point or another, and it's important that you know how to pick up your bike efficiently while saving time and energy. The XT250 is a pretty light dual sport with a low center of gravity, and as you can see in this clip, my buddy Rasmus has absolutely no problem picking the bike up with only the handlebars. However, depending on the weight of your bike, or if you have it loaded down with gear, a better way can be to face away from the bike, squat down, grabbing the handlebars with one hand, rear rack grab handles at the rear of the bike with your other hand, and then use your legs to push the bike upright. This method can save a lot of energy, especially if you have a heavier dual sport like the DR650 or a bigger adventure bike. So there you have it. Those are the main things I wish I would have learned sooner when I was a complete beginner to off-road dual sport riding. Of course, this can also be applied to dirt bikes, adventure bikes. Some of this can be even applied to mountain biking, especially attack position and line acquisition. So, if you are a beginner who found this helpful, feel free to leave a comment down below or share the most important tips you've learned on your journey so far. Or perhaps if you're a more seasoned rider that's watching this, be sure to leave your favorite piece of advice for those who may benefit from it as well. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more dual sport adventures and tips and tricks videos just like this one. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace. Yeah, let's keep moving. Take her nice and easy. All right. Off we go. There's another tip. If you're coming through a rough bit of trail, get off your bike, go on foot, and walk it first. That way you can see if there's any little hidden obstacles before you hit it, just blindly. Taking things nice and slow in here. And we are back on the trail.